Hi, my name is Jenny Hanna, and I would like to offer some body awareness and rejuvenation and nourishment tips during this time of potential heightened stress. Also, what might be occurring in your experience will be a more static movement, and potentially sitting in front of computers, which rounds our back forward. We're usually doing some version of this or this on our couch. So this very short beginner's sequence of body movements inspired by yogic practices will hopefully start to open the front of the body. The reason why it's very important to open the front of the body is not only will it allow us to breathe better and take in more air, which in turn allows us to feel the full capacity of our breath, but when our hearts are lifted and our heads are more towards the back plane of our body experience, then our collarbones start to widen, and we will also keep and maintain better structural skeletal alignment, which will help us just feel more stable, strong, and we just feel better. So the first exercise anyone can do, you'll just need a wall. So I have a wall behind me, and you can just start by taking a nice strong stance with the feet underneath the hips, and just taking note of where your body is in space. So I'm going to turn to the side and just I'm going to actually exaggerate. Probably no one's doing this, but sometimes we're doing something like this. I'll show from this way. Something like this. So when you turn towards a wall, I'm actually going to turn away from you so that you see my shoulder. But you'll place one hand on the wall, the full circumference of the hand, or the full palm rather, on the wall. The wrist is going to be slightly higher than the shoulder, and I'm standing just as far enough away from the wall as I need to. I'm not leaning and on an angle, but I want to be vertical next to the wall. And I'm going to draw the head of my arm bone up, so it actually lifts up, which is important to lengthen the side of the ribs, and then turning the head of the arm bone back and then down the back. So that's 3 movements. I'll do that again. The head of the arm bone lifts up, which lengthens the side ribs. Then the arm bone moves back, and then the arm bone moves down the back. If you feel any discomfort here in the front of your shoulder, you may have a sensitive rotator cuff, and you want to be really mindful to not go too deeply too quickly. So to get into this full experience of the pose, your arm bone is what we call set. It's plugged in. So the more we lean on it, it's in the socket. If I didn't do those movements and I tried to set my arm, my upper arm bone is a ball and socket joint, and it doesn't do me any good. So that movement of rotating it up, back, and down is going to allow me to plug the arm bone in, and then turning the body away from the wall by twisting in place. I'm literally turning my toes towards the middle of the room. For most of us, we may be somewhere here. And then here, you're going to start to feel maybe a lower back bend. So try to draw your belly in and lift up your heart. And breathing. And breathe into whatever side of that lung it is. For me, it's my left lung. And then I'm taking my head back and pressing the inside of my hand down, or into the door rather. So I'm feeling a big sensation here in this arm, and if you see the difference of my arms, you can already see that the muscles of the chest, the pectoral muscles, are beginning to open just from that small movement. So I'll do that facing you. I'm going to go a little bit quicker because it's review. So second side, hand goes against the wall. We lengthen the arm bone up so that the side ribs get long, space for the lungs. Arm bone moves back, then down the back, and then leaning on the hand to plug the shoulder blade in. You'll know the shoulder blade's plugged in because this muscle here, your latimus dorsi, the outer edge of your scapula, will be sticking out of your torso, so you want to move that in. And then keep pressing the hand in as you slowly start to turn away from the wall. You're turning in place, so just your feet are rotating. And I feel a very strong sensation here in my pectoral muscles, and also down into my biceps. And if you press strong through the inner edges of the hands, you'll get much more out of this. And taking a few breaths into that side of the lung. So if you find yourself doing like a banana back, try to engage your belly a little bit so that you start to create space in the low back rather than compression. And then see if you can slide your head back. Taking a few breaths here, and then slowly release. So you're gonna do that much quicker. I was just giving you a little step-by-step tutorial. I'm gonna offer a couple of more upper body exercises. You can turn towards the wall, and you're gonna extend your arms out, turning your hands outwards, so those are towards the left and to the right side of your door or your wall. And then you're going to place your palms on the wall. For most of us, this might not be possible. Many of us will have our hands down here because the tendons can get very short. So we want this carpal tunnel to have as much space and length as possible. So the words carpal tunnel used to exist without the word syndrome. And so that's what we're allowing ourselves to experience here, is as much space as possible. So if your hands can go to the wall, and if you are someone with a little bit more hyper mobility, and if you're a hyper extender, you'll know that because your elbows will lock and almost become like a V shape. So you want to take a tiny micro bend in your elbows if that's the case. And if you want to go further, you can start to step your feet back, stepping your feet back so that your body is at an angle and you're pressing down through the inner edges of the wrists. And breathing. And then you can step towards the wall if you've stepped away, and then turn the top of your hands with the fingertips down onto the wall, the top of the hands onto the wall, and then again, just taking it breath by breath. This might be plenty for you. You don't want to go to a place where it hurts, but it will feel uncomfortable, and see if you can breathe there. You may already see that the blood is beginning to rush to my fingertips. I can actually see, can you see that my fingertips are actually turning red here? So it's because I've been in the computer all day today. So I'm finally getting blood there. And then I'm going to step away from the wall, slowly release my wrist, give myself a little shake, and just feel that my upper body, my arms, even my neck and my chest feel much more open. I feel like I can breathe better, and I just have a general sense of more buoyancy and more feeling of awake, energized. So in your virtual world, which we have now entered, I hope that you take some time for yourself to offer your body a little care. Thank you. Bye.